Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today, she is the Chief Development Officer of Nail Order. Please welcome Becca. Hello, Becca, and welcome.
Hi, so nice to be talking to you.
Yes, absolutely. Glad to have you on. So I want to go ahead and get started by asking where you're originally from and tell us about your upbringing.
I had a little bit of an unusual upbringing, so I am what we call an army brat.
Mm,
So my dad was in the army. I was born in Germany,
mm,
just because that's where he was posted, and we moved around a lot. So I went to lots of different elementary or primary schools, as we call them. Yeah, lived all over the place. Lived in Germany
wow.
several times, Cyprus, Northern Ireland, all over England. But my family is Scottish.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. Now, I want to get into in regards to your school experience. So, was it all over the place too, as far as your school experience, like high school and college and stuff like that?
So primary slash elementary school, as you guys call it, that was all over the place. That was in different countries, lots of different schooling systems. So
Mhm.
you always have to be adaptable, be able to make friends really, really quickly.
Right.
But in terms of high school, I actually went to a boarding school. When
Mm,
I started high school, my dad was posted to Germany again. So
mm,
if I didn't go to boarding school, I would have ended up being in three different schooling systems in terms of like international, English, Scottish,
mhm,
and it would have been really quite disruptive. So I lived
mm.
away from my parents for high school. Yeah.
Wow. I want to get into the nail industry. Who or what exposed you to the nail industry?
Totally random. I had absolutely no, I would say, in all honesty, I had absolutely no interest in anything beauty or nails or art or anything until I was a bit
Mm,
older. I actually studied accountancy and economics at college,
mhm.
or university, as we call it. And yeah, I didn't think that I was an artistic person, but it turns out I am. I think I had quite a naive view of art, and I thought, oh, art means you can draw. That's not what art is at all. You can express yourself in so many different ways.
Right.
So I guess when I was 19, I think I had my nails done for the very first time. And then I dabbled in of getting my nails done. And prior to having any salon or any nail experience myself, the first thing that got Chris and I into the beauty industry, as you would call it, was actually fish pedicures, if you can believe it.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so that was our
It's
very first business. It was called Piranha Pedi. And
mm,
yeah, we were the second company in Scotland to offer fish pedicures. We were incredibly busy. And
mm,
from there, we opened another couple of branches. And then we decided, well, we have a standalone premises. It goes well with beauty treatments. So we
mhm,
better introduce beauty treatments, hire beauty
mhm,
therapists. And that's what got us into salon ownership and then got me into nails after that. So after that, I
mhm,
went and did all different courses and qualifications in all
mhm.
different beauty treatments. And yeah, that's how I got started with nails.
That's very, very interesting. I want to go ahead and switch gears and talk about your business Nail Order.
Yeah.
So, how did that brand get started? And also, were there any setbacks in regards to the development of your nail brand?
Okay, so Nail Order was a lockdown baby. We always had all these great ideas to do
Mhm,
all sorts of things, but quite honestly, we didn't have the time and on like we didn't know where to start with things. But then when lockdown happened, our salon had to close. Chris and I,
mm,
Chris is my husband. He is the co-founder of the business with me. Um, we found ourselves with loads of time and nothing to do. So it
mhm.
gave us time to be creative and find the ways of starting a business, especially for like cuticle oil and things like that. That's something we were
Right.
really interested in. So Nail Order actually is very first thing it started as was a press-on nail business. I
Mhm,
had these great ideas that during lockdown I would just sit in one of the rooms in the house painting all these press-on nails, and I would be filling everybody's nail fix that they weren't
right.
getting because they couldn't go to the salon. That took off, and it soon became apparent that I wasn't going to do it on my own. So then staff that we had for the salon, they were making them at their house and stuff.
Mhm.
And that's why it was called Nail Order, because it was like mail order, but for nails. So
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
yeah, we always like a bit of a play on words with these things. And yeah, so basically lockdown gave us the time to work out, right, how do we go about finding a manufacturer for cuticle oils? Cuticle oils was our first real product. We've always been passionate about retail products and salons. It's always such a great way to be able to bolster your profits, and great add-ons to the treatment and stuff like that can help manicures last longer. So that's why we started with the cuticle oils.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I want to get into what you guys sell as well. So you guys sell, of course, cuticle oils, like how you mentioned, but also extension gels, t-shirt and apron merch, and most of all, your colored gel polish, which you've recently released, which has 100 colors. And of course, it has a 30-second curing time. So what was the process in regards to building your gel collection?
So the very first conversation that we ever had, Chris and I, about starting a gel polish line was actually in 2019, even before Nail Order was born. We were actually sitting in a pub. It was in the summertime. We were sat outside. And at that point, we identified a gap in the market for a brand that was extremely high quality, hypoallergenic, was made in the UK or EU.
Right.
But at that time, we didn't even have the experience of starting cuticle oil brand. So we really had no idea where to start in terms of finding a factory to make it for us. We did get in contact with a couple of different factories. Samples we received at the time, we just weren't happy with. Having owned the salon for 10 years already, we knew exactly what type of products we were looking for. We knew they had to be extremely high quality, extremely easy to use, highly pigmented, things that are going to make nail techs' lives so much easier.
Right.
So the salon was open at the time. We didn't have lockdown. We kind of put the idea to bed, carried on. And then we started Nail Order. We started with the cuticle oil and then our full cover tips, which is our Gel X type system, which we're super passionate about. We've been doing them in our own salon for 9 years. And then early 2022, we were like, right, extensions, that's a full cover tip system. That's really on the go. That's doing great. We've got a massive range, like 17 tip styles. Now is the time for our gel polish, because we were like, still didn't feel that anybody had filled that gap. There were hypoallergenic brands out there, lots of brands made in the EU and UK and stuff, but we didn't feel like any one brand had everything done quite right, especially in terms of the formula. So early 2022, we then again set about looking for a factory and a formula that we were happy with. I would say it took 4 or 5 months until we found like a formula sample and a factory that we were happy with. And then from there, it was starting with the colors. We literally went to B&Q, which is our big DIY chain.
Okay.
Like you guys have Home Depot. That's our version of Home Depot. And you know, I don't know if they have it in Home Depot, but here they have it where there's like a paint mixing station and they can mix any color of paint. Because like you can bring an item, they'll color match it.
Yeah, that's in Home Depot and Lowe's. Like Lowe's is another hardware store here in the US. Yeah.
So that's exactly what we have, and that's exactly what we did. We were like looking for items and looking for just like inspiration. We went to them. We got all these little. Oh my god, they hated us because we had hundreds of these tiny samples made, and we literally painted wall paint onto pops and then sent them away to the factory for them to make it into the polish. Wow. And that's kind of how we do it. We're trying to be completely unique and do everything our way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to also get into the ergonomics, because this is what I find very interesting. You mentioned the ergonomics as far as brush design. So when people think of ergonomics, people think of like, you know, the work environment to make sure people are safely, you know, performing the service, things like that, you know, make sure, you know, the chairs help you, you know, with your posture and things like that. So just in regards to ergonomics, as far as nail products, like how important is ergonomics as far as gel products?
So with the ergonomics of our brush, I mean, I think in general, it's very, very important. Obviously, being a nail tech, it is a manual job. You are using your body. I mean, I think a lot of people don't actually put it together. They are using their body to perform the service, even when it comes to the posture they're sitting in, the way they're holding their hands. You know, people nail techs get carpal tunnel and things like that. So I think it's really important for brands to think about even these things. That's what we try to do. We try to think of every tiny detail, so many details that people are never even going to see or notice, but they're details that make us compliant and ensure that we're doing everything as safely as possible. Absolutely. So when it came to like the brush, that's really important as well. Everything that we do is trying to not only provide a really high quality product to our customers, but something which is going to make their jobs easier and more comfortable.
Absolutely.
So that's with the brush, and all the feedback we're getting from the gel so far is all the same. They are loving that brush. You know, it can kiss that cuticle. I was actually painting with the other day on a new tip style that's going to be releasing tomorrow. By the time you release it, it'll be out. And I was painting, and I was like, oh my God, it's just kissing those sidewalls. It was so perfect. But yeah, cool. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So I want to get into as far as nail lamps. So as far as your gel polishes, can people use any nail lamp as far as your gel products, or do they have to specifically Nail Order's nail lamp in regards to the gel polish?
I mean, nail lamps is a minefield subject. It really, really is. The thing with us is we always want to empower nail techs to be able to maximize their business, save money where they can, and use what they have already. So I don't ever want to tell somebody you have to use our this, that, and the next thing if they've already got something equivalent that's going to work just as well, because they're wasting their money. And it's also wasteful in the environment if we have all these lamps building up everywhere. So I actually did a post on our community group yesterday about lamps. In the industry, it's highly publicized that you should use the matching lamp to your system. And believe it or not, and it's something that I actually didn't believe myself, that I used to think, you look at the wattage and the 60 seconds, 30 seconds, it works if it's the same. It's really, really not, because although your nail lamp, they will advertise, for example, the most common wavelength that you'll see that gels curing and that the lamps offer in terms of nanometers is 365 to 405. And your lamp could be a 365 to 405 wavelength. So could mine, but the intensity of my bulbs might be different to the intensity of your bulbs. So there's a lot of factors to put together in terms of wavelength, bulb intensity, timings, and stuff like that. And manufacturers can tweak lamps. We're actually going through the process right now just to make some tweaks to ours to make it a really great lamp, which is perfectly paired for our products. So it is important to use a lamp which is compatible with your brand of gel polish, obviously to avoid undercuring. As I said, I did just put a post up which can tell you what you can do to try and identify how compatible your lamp may be with our gel polish. But it is a real minefield. Always believe what the manufacturer says. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to also get into in regards to this discussion as well, because the thing is that the discussion in particular is about, gel and avoiding, skin contact and things like that. So there's been a lot of talk in regards to people using acetone and gel for airbrushing, the dangers of gel and acetone, but also gel by itself where it can cause allergies. So could you talk more about the importance of safety working with gel products or any products in general?
I could talk about this all day. I think I've educated myself so much, especially over the last 2 years in regards to chemicals and gels and the way things work. So what it comes down to is whenever we are using any type of chemicals, they are allergens. They're something that can cause a reaction in somebody. It's really, really important to remember that the way that somebody's body reacts is completely individual. It's not anything that you have done as a nail tech. If you have a client with an allergy, it is their body having an individual response to a foreign chemical. So the chemicals that we are mostly looking at when we are talking about gel products are products such as HEMA or HEMA, which is hydroxyethyl methacrylate, HPMA, which is hydroxypropyl methacrylate, IBOA, which is isobornyl acrylate, and dihema as well. There are other allergens that we're looking at, but those are the main ones that will cause the vast majority of reactions. The reason that it's become such a problem recently, there's such a combination of things. My personal opinion on it would be that it is a combination of COVID and people's immune system changing and their immune response to things changing. Maybe because they've had COVID, maybe because of the vaccines, a whole combination of things. Next is because during lockdown, salons were shut and people were performing their own manicures. They were doing this as non-qualified professionals using non-professional equipment, and they were probably touching the skin and having undercured products. So what's then happened is it's overexposure over time. I also have this potentially controversial belief that builder gels have been used in a way that they're not necessarily designed to be and are being applied too thickly, which is resulting in them being undercured. And what happens when a gel is undercured is there are free monomers just rocking around your nail bed, which can be absorbed by the skin. And the smaller the molecule, the more easily absorbed they are. And eventually, due to overexposure, your body goes, no, I don't want any more of this. So that's why it is incredibly important that as nail techs, we protect ourselves as much as possible by wearing gloves. We are then reducing our skin-to-skin exposure with these products, by wearing masks, because we are creating dust. Even if you're just hand filing, you're breathing that in. That could be overexposure to you. Ensuring that our gels are fully cured, and making sure that we're checking the safety data sheets for these products as well to check what levels of chemicals these products have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get into as well. You were on Chantel's podcast called Colgasmic Nail Talks recently, and you mentioned how your products have a small amount of HEMA. So just in regards to as well with gel products, like how much is too much HEMA in a gel product?
Again, this question is how long is a piece of string? So our new gel polish system is what we consider hypoallergenic. So hypoallergenic just means less allergenic, and it's free of all those chemicals that we talked about previously. However, we do have some of our products which have, like you said, a low percentage of HEMA or HEMA, however you like to pronounce it. What I would consider low percentage is anything below 10%. That's what I would say is low. In the UK and Europe, it is it's illegal for us to use any products which have more than 35% HEMA in it. So I think the US may be different, but certainly in the UK and Europe, a directive was passed a few years ago, which I think it was actually 2019, which said that any product with more than 35% HEMA in it would be illegal for us, for people to sell or for people to use. I would say that anything that has over that 20% mark of HEMA or HEMA, I would say it's excessive. I would say it's completely unnecessary. What the HEMA is doing is providing adhesive properties, and you just don't need it in that level, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Also, too, what I've also been hearing as well, like specifically on TikTok, is different dermatologists saying that, you know, UV LED lamps can cause skin cancer. So what is your perspective on the topic of UV/LED lamps?
So there was a study that came out in January of this year in regards to this topic. And that's where sort of all this discussion is coming from. But if you really sort of get into the details of the study, what you find out is, one, the study was done on in vitro samples. So that's in Petri dishes. It wasn't done on human skin, like the skin that you and I have right here. And the difference between the samples that they have and the samples, our actual skin, is that we have layers of protection by way of dead skin cells on top. That provides a layer of protection. And what they did say as well in the research is that the samples they're using and the samples that they use in labs are much more susceptible to damage. Next is the fact that the testing that was done was the equivalent of 3,000 times what your exposure at your nail appointment would be. Massive, 3,000 times.
That's
huge. What they were doing, they were subjecting samples to 20 minutes 1 to 3 times a day, every single day. When you go for your nail appointment, it depends obviously on the treatment that you're getting, but say it's a base coat, 2 color coats, and a top coat. That's 4 minutes per hand once a month, as opposed to 60 minutes a day, every single day. So we have to understand that in life and in everything we do, we expose ourselves to an element of risk. There's radiation in our phones, there's radiation in airplanes. We're exposed to radiation at lots of different points of just in our daily life. So it's about understanding that everything is a calculated risk, and the exposure is there, but it's so incredibly minimal that I, from a personal point of view, wouldn't see it as something to be concerned about.
Absolutely. So I want to push gears and talk about marketing. So for someone who wants to start their own nail brand, what would be some of your tips in regards to marketing and branding?
Gosh, I would say actually now is probably one of the best times. If you ever thought you wanted to get into the nail business and start your own nail brand, now is one of the best times. And I'll tell you why. It's because people right now have lost a lot of faith in bigger companies, and I think small new start companies are enjoying a real resurgence. People trust them. You can offer a personal aspect to it. So I think now is a great time. I would say in terms of marketing, being as honest as you can be with your customers. You've obviously got to get yourself out there on social media, particularly Instagram, which is harder now than it has ever been. But I think what you want to do is you want to create something unique. You don't want to copy something that somebody else has done. So put your own spin and your personality on something. I think that's so important. You want to fill a void which hasn't been filled yet. I think in terms of Instagram, always be there, always be present, but don't be too much. And I think a really important tip, and something I've seen a lot of recently, and it really upsets me for so many reasons, people buying followers. Yeah. People, you can tell when people have bought followers, and I think it represents you not good as a brand or even as an individual if you're a nail tech, because you come across as dishonest. And you don't need to do it. Don't do it. Followers don't mean everything at all. You know, some of the, best nail artists that I follow on Instagram, they have, one of them off the top of my head, I think she has about 3,000 followers. And I look at her work and I think, she is unbelievable. I noticed that from looking at all the hundreds and thousands of nail techs that we speak to all the time. So you don't need to do that. Be true to yourself. I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Within your journey, having, the Nail Order brand, what are some things you learned about branding and marketing personally?
I think you got to do what you say you're going to do. That's number one. I think, you've got to follow through. That's something that I've really learned. I've learned that people love the personal touch. They want to know who's behind that brand. They want to get to know that person. And they want to know that you're a real person as well, and that you make mistakes. And I think something that's really, really important as well is to hold your hands up when you make a mistake. We're all human. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes all the time. And I think sometimes, even as a brand, it's very easy to go along and pretend that you're absolutely perfect. You never make a mistake and everything was intentional. But sometimes I think it's really important just to hold your hands up and be honest and show that humanity a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all part of like accountability. And I think accountability is very, very important, with having a brand, but also when you're trying to get yourself out there. Because one of the things, and I've mentioned this when I talked to a few nail artists, was about the importance of credibility. You know what I mean? I think if you get inspo from somebody like Nail Art Inspo, Nail Art Set Inspo, be sure to credit that person where you got the idea from. So that's definitely very important, credibility and accountability.
Very, very important. Funny that you say that, because we were just making some content recently, and it was using our Moon Drops, which is a liquid chrome that we have. And Jerry from Dippy Cow Nails, I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She recently did a reel using our products and applying the chrome in a completely different way to we'd ever seen. And I kept banging on, make sure you tag her, make sure you make it clear to everybody that we learned this technique from her, because it's so important. And I think something that I've learned as well, which is really important, is that don't see other people as competition, see them as inspiration. They are your inspiration. You might have seen something that they've done and you're like, I want to recreate that, or I want to recreate that, but put my small spin on it. That's okay, but like you say, always give the credit, because that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. Now let's get into nail education. So within your perspective, what has been your take in regards to the growth of nail education in the UK?
Gosh, I think that there has been a massive explosion, especially over the last couple of years, probably as a result of COVID and lockdown, of online courses, which is great, because I think there really is a place in the market for both face-to-face, in-person learning and online learning. Some people do not do well in a classroom environment. They prefer to learn at their own pace, and we need to make sure that we're always being inclusive when it comes to everything, even learning styles as well. So I think there has been a massive boom. Unfortunately, with the online courses, there has been a lot of what I would say would be subpar courses came along that are either giving out not enough information, but giving out a qualification or giving out misinformation. I have seen that myself with people other companies teaching courses using our brands, and then students are coming to us saying, oh, I did this course and this is how I was taught. And I was like, whoa, that's almost like you're doing the process in reverse to what we would tell somebody to do. So I think if you were looking for a course yourself, maybe try and get a course that has reviews where you can see, or it has been recommended to you by somebody else. And I would also say make sure that you're doing a course which is accredited. So here in the UK, we have certain accreditation companies. The main ones I would say are CPD and ABT. They're the ones that are going to allow you to get insurance, because you want to make sure that you're not investing something which isn't actually going to even allow you to be covered insurance-wise going forward.
Right, absolutely. You also offer nail courses online and in person. So tell us about some of the nail courses you offer.
So at the moment, we have our full cover tips course, our extensions course. We have that online and in person. We have just launched our online gel polish course, which covers as well nail anatomy and chemistry. Chemistry is something that is often really overlooked in nail courses, and it's really important that you have a basic understanding of the chemicals you're using. You got to think about yourself like a mini chemist. You know, you are using products which can potentially be dangerous. You wouldn't want your doctor prescribing you medication that they weren't educated on. So people don't want their nail techs using, you know, chemicals that they're not educated on. So yeah, we now have our online gel polish course. We are about to launch an online builder course and an online hard gel course as well to go along with products that we are releasing. It's really important that we offer education along with products we're releasing as well. And then in the new year, in 2024, we will have all those courses available face-to-face too.
Wow, that's really, really incredible. I want to get into in regards to products. So what has been some of your favorite nail products from your brand?
The one that was always going to have my heart is extensions. I'm so passionate about full cover tips because, again, it's about creating something which is so easy for nail techs to use, and it allows them to create something really beautiful. You know, rather than spending forever sculpting something and creating a perfect base, it's now there's the perfect base for you, and you can put all of your you know, creative juices into creating some beautiful nail art over the top. So extensions, absolutely always going to have my heart. I love our cuticle oil, our blueberry cheesecake cuticle oil, which is currently discontinued because we're having scent problems. That is my favorite. And our new gel polish, the white, there's just no words. Everybody is saying white is just a mic drop. Honestly, it's unbelievable. We do have a new product coming out, and every time I use it, I just get so excited. Chris actually filmed me making some content with it the other day, and he's like, you get like this every time you use this product. And it's a hard gel, and I actually have very little experience in the past with hard gels, but I'm like, wow, this is just so beautiful. And I really feel like hard gels are going to make a real resurgence next year. I feel like hard gels is what everybody is trying to use builder gel as. And I don't think it was ever designed for that purpose. I think let's go back to the hard gel.
Have you ever thought about doing like your own line of like acrylics or like potted gels and things like that? Or are you just sticking with like the gel polish and the cuticle oils and things like that?
So our hard gel is potted gels. Yes. Okay. So we have some beautiful brushes releasing with that. And we're going to have 2 different ranges of potted hard gel. So what we're trying to do with our product range is we're not saying that we are just going to be hypoallergenic, because not one product fits all. What we want to bring out is a range of high quality products that suit a variety of nail techs. Our motto as a company is inclusivity over exclusivity, and that we want to encompass that throughout everything in our business.
Absolutely.
It's so important in this day and age to have like you said, accountability. Even as a company, you need to understand your responsibilities, your corporate responsibilities as a company. So being inclusive in every single aspect of everything we do is incredibly important.
Yes, absolutely. I want to get into this other topic because I asked everybody in my podcast this question. So if you had a top 5 list of your favorite nail artists, who would they be and why?
Oh my God, this is impossible. Okay. My first one, she's called Our Genesis Creates. She is called Aaliyah, and I'll tell you why she's my favorite. Because we had her up to do I think she's London based, and we had her come up and do a nail art workshop with our salon when we still had the salon. And watching somebody do that level of intricate nail art in person is just, it's mind-blowing. You're like, how can a human do this? You know, she's like a printer, but also the patience that she has, which is a quality I do not possess, is something to be admired. So I would definitely say our Genesis Creates, she's fantastic. Next, I really love the person I spoke about earlier was Sophie's Beauty Bar. She used to be a BA from us. She's just, I think if she had come out or like onto the scene a few years ago, she would have been snapped up by one of those big brands, and her following would have gone through the roof. Absolutely fantastic. Anuska Anastasia, she's such an inspiration in the industry, just in terms of her work, but also her personal brand that she has created. Absolutely love that. Sadie J.
Sadie J,
yeah, love her. She's just started doing some content for us, and watching, like, when I tried to create content on myself, I tried to record something the other day, and Laura is our marketing manager, and I'll send her things, so she's like, Rebecca, that is ridiculous. Somebody being able to like swatch at a distance on themselves, it blows my mind. You know, how can they do it so perfectly? Somebody else I really love is Alex from Put It in Neutral. New to the nail industry, but shows an insane talent. So I think he's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Now, as far as like, you know, BAs, like, are you doing like, you know, brand ambassadors domestically, or are you doing like worldwide ambassadors from different countries?
We've recently ended the BA system that we had. Because what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to work with a wide and inclusive range of content creators from everywhere. So we are hoping to do all over the world. In fact, we've recently just taken somebody on. She used to work for us. Her name is Coco. You guys might have seen her on the TikTok. She's absolutely fabulous. Coco is French, but she currently lives in Tunisia. So she's going to be doing content creation for us. But absolutely worldwide, we would love people from all over the world to do work with us. We know our products get used quite a lot in places like Puerto Rico, and loads. Loads. That was really early on. We were really shocked with that one, and loads in America as well. So we love.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's really cool. I didn't know, like, you know, people from, you know, US was using the products. That's really cool.
Chris and I actually hand delivered an order to a customer in Idaho. Is it Idaho? Is she in Idaho? She is. She's in Boise. We hand delivered a package to her in July.
Wow. Wow, that's really, really cool. Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We've got customers in like Cambodia, New Zealand, all over the place. It's so exciting when you get somebody from far away ordering.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. So looking back on your journey in regards to having your own brand, what are some of the things that you found rewarding, and what are some things that you've learned in the journey?
Every time you launch a brand new product, as an example, we had our gel polish launch a week ago. That first time you get your new product gets tagged in somebody else's work, it blows my mind. That is probably like the most rewarding thing. What we call it is nail order in the wild. So seeing people actually use it. In fact, Chris and I went on a romantic overnight a few weeks ago, and we were just in a really quite a remote Scottish town on the far west coast, and we were just like walking down this side street, and there was a salon, and I just happened to look in the window, and then I saw our products. I was like, oh, our products. And we like walked backwards, put my phone on record, and recorded it. And it's such simple things. That's what's rewarding, hearing the customer feedback, hearing that people they truly love your products, and they've invested in you. That's the rewarding part for us. I don't find any reward from like financial reward. For me, it is literally seeing people being happy and loving what you've created. That's what I find rewarding. Things that I've learned is kind of what we've already gone over. I would say is be true to yourself, follow through, and be accountable, and hold your hands up if you make a mistake. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you been able to balance being, you know, an entrepreneur, you know, having your own nail brand, you know, with everyday life?
There is no balance. There's none at all. It's just as well I don't have kids, because wow, I don't know what I would have done. Yeah, it's hard, but it is. But Chris and I are both the same. We enjoy it so much. Like, that is what I get my kick off of. Like, I love going into the office. I love the team being there. Nail Order is a complete collaboration. So everything we do, everybody is involved. And it doesn't matter whether you are a picker packer in the warehouse, or you're a graphic designer, or whatever you do, you will be part of the process of a new product from start to finish, you know, even if it's helping us test products, helping us name products, whatever it is. Yeah, so there is no balance, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. And what I love about your brand, I really love like the branding and the packaging of it, because it's like so fun, you know, especially like the cuticle oils is like different, you know, types of like, you know, letterings, and, you know, you have the old, you know, vintage lettering for, you know, the Nail Order brand. So it's really cool how, you know, you utilize, you know, pastel colors, you know, and graphics, you know, for your brand. So that's really, really cool to see that.
We want to, again, like I said earlier, you know, it's about finding your own niche. There are hundreds of brands that very successfully do, you know, what people would call these days the clean girl aesthetic. You know, that looks really stylish, really classy, really clean. That's not us. That's not us at all. We're fun. We're playful. And what we didn't even realize is that we were filling a void that we had no idea existed, which was, there's a massive sort of gothic nail tech sector, you know, and it's really, really cool to be able to fill that void. So yeah, no, being fun, that's definitely us. Again, we're not, I love the clean girl aesthetic to look at, but it's not true to us. So yeah.
Yeah. And I like how with now, like, people are getting more fun and expressive with Nell, but also with branding. Like, you look at Nelda by Chelsea, like her packaging is really fun, you know, very Y2K, you know, cartoon style, you know, Lizzie McGuire type of feel.
Love it.
So, you know, so that's really cool, you know, how people are embracing more of the fun as far as branding, but also nail art as well.
That's it. It should absolutely be fun as well. If you look at like Anuska, and then Nuka Nails thing, it's the same. It's fun, it's bright, it's engaging. You know, you want to encourage people to experiment. I was been looking at your crazy nail art on your Instagram, you know, with like all the 3D things, and it's like some sort of mad science experiment. But that's what we want to do. You want to create things that are different. We don't just want the same old thing over and over again. Make yourself stand out, and don't be afraid to express yourself.
Absolutely. Now, where do you see the Nail Order brand going in 5 years' time?
Oh, 5 years. I can barely think of 5 minutes ahead. I would say lots more innovative products, creating something innovative and something you didn't know you needed. That's very much up. I love doing the whole like crazy scientist thing and trying to just come up with really cool things. As soon as I see something that I'm like, oh, nobody's done that yet, I'm like, that's a bit of us. So I think just continuing bringing out a lot of unique products that are really, really high quality, and really just listening to our customers and how they guide us. We are community led. And a lot of the things we do are in response to things that customers have requested from us. So that's super important to us.
Absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find Nail Order on social media, and how can people, you know, support you guys? How can people get access to nail courses?
Well, you are going to find us, first of all, Instagram, which is just @Nail Order. You can get us on TikTok. Our TikTok is pure fun. It's pure silliness. It's nothing more than that. So especially if you want a bit of nail tech humor, you're going to find us Nail Order on TikTok as well. We have a YouTube channel, which is, I think, again, it's just Nail Order. And there we go through tutorials and stuff, educational things, sometimes silly challenges as well. There's always a little bit of silliness involved. And of course, if you go to our website, nailorder.co.uk, you'll be able to find all of our courses and products as well. We are a professional only site, but if you are just starting your nail journey and maybe you want to do our gel polish course, which is suitable for beginners, if you contact us on by email or DM us on Insta, we are on there 24/7. We will get back to you and we'll be able to hook you up and sort you out.
All right, that's really cool. Thank you so much, Becca, for jumping on. I love what you guys are doing. Like I said, you know, the branding is really, really fun and very, very, you know, playful and things like that. I wish you, you know, the greatest amounts of, you know, best of luck in regards to the Nail Order brand. I love what you guys are doing. Big congrats on your gel polish collection release.
Thank you so much.
So this is a very cool conversation. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Take care.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, asiaticbird.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye-bye.